Hello there and welcome to Audiophile Heaven, my music lovers. I'm Josh from Audiophile Heaven and today we're having a look at Burson Audio Funk. This is a $600 headphone amplifier and stereo speaker amplifier. It runs in class IB and it has 45 watts of actual power. So let's get down with the unboxing. I actually have unboxed quite a few Burson audio items in the past, but most of them were only covered in writing because that was way before my YouTube channel started. So this is the first one I'm doing in video on Audiophile Heaven YouTube, as far as I know. Yeah, I cut myself in the box once, so you should be careful while unboxing it. It has cutting edge performance. Here we have the unit, the Burson Funk. You can actually hear some rattle while jiggling it, and this is because of the connectors on the back. They are screw-ins, and if one of them is loose, you'll hear some jigging. Now it is silent. It has a full analog potentiometer at the front. It has a full-sized headphone output at 6.3 millimeters, and it also has one smaller headphone input in 3.5 millimeters, which also offers support for a microphone. It has a microphone output at the back, so you can use it with both normal sized headphones that are hard to drive, also gaming headsets. Even IEMs work very well with it because it has a very silent background. The unit is quite cool, at least in my honest opinion. It doesn't have a display, but it has those very small dots on the front through which you see a light while different options are activated. You have a button for turning it on and off, a button for using either the headphone output or the speaker output. You cannot use both the speaker output or the headphone output at the same time. You need to select them, which is quite cool. And you have a gain input which only affects the headphones. It does not affect the speaker output. So this gain is for using it with either sensitive IEMs or hard to drive headphones. The potentiometer is quite sweet. I like having it. It is very smooth in operation. It is also fully analog, so it means that at the very beginning of its volume play, you have some channel imbalance, but it is very small. After that, it is perfect. It also offers the best quality when it comes to the audio part. And we also have the power input at the back, the two speaker outputs, or rather one, it is for one set of speakers actually. We also have the RCA input here, and we have the microphone output. Because the microphone is a pass-through, it does not act as a USB DAC, so you need to connect the microphone output cable to your sound card so that you can have the microphone signal. You know, normally I would complain about this. I would say that it feels a little extra, but actually it's quite cool because the unit is so small and it looks so good. You would actually have it on your desk. It looks a bit like a gaming sound card, so you would actually use this in an actual setup. You don't have to think that it is an extra. The surface of the unit is actually covered in those ridges, which is quite cool because the unit can grow a bit warm during usage. It is normal, it is full class IB, and it has 45 watts of power in this size, so it will grow a bit warm. This texture here is so that it cools off a bit better. I have been testing it quite a bit for the past few days, and I just received it actually. The company asked me to do a shorter video, and I'm doing both. I'm doing both one of my long 10 minutes video, at minimum 10 minutes, and one shorter video. This is because I want to see if you guys would prefer a shorter 3 minutes video over my typical works. Also, although the company asked me to make a 3 minutes video, I cannot monetize those, and if you see ads on shorter than 10 minutes videos, then YouTube takes all the money. I do not take any cent of the ads you see, and I kind of wanted to get some of that money, you know, to be alive, to be able to eat, to be able to continue doing Audiophile Heaven and video reviews, and to be able to just be here with you, my friends. The unit of the Burson Funk does not have the word funk anywhere, but I really hope that the YouTube algorithms do not flag my video as offensive language. I mean, I have a bit of an accent and I don't want my funk to sound like something else. Trust me, I don't want that. Having a family-friendly YouTube channel actually pays better with far less views than having a normal swearing included YouTube channel. That's something to take into account when making YouTube if you want to start YouTubing. It's quite fun. The Burson Audio Funk has a ton of power on the speaker output. It is able to drive the NHD speakers I have in the back. It also has more than enough power for the Butcher Desk 400 series, so you will be able to drive pretty much all of your speakers with it. You don't have to concern yourself too much with its power. It is more than enough. It is actual true class IB. It is not class D or lower, and yeah, it has the quality of class A, but the lower consumption similar to class D, which is really awesome, especially if you are environmentally concerned and if you want to save nature, if you want us to live longer. I really would prefer living longer, I'll be honest with you. I like being alive, I like doing YouTube video reviews, and I want to be here for a long time. So yeah, let's try to save nature as quickly as we can. I don't really think that for having Class AB versus Class A makes that much of a difference when it comes to power consumption, but it makes a huge difference in your pocket because Class AB is much less expensive to design than full Class A. Class A is way more expensive, and the differences are not that high usually, so full Class AB is perfect. It should bring a perfect mix of both of Class A and lower consumption of lower classes. Now, I did notice Burson making some bold claims about the Burson Funk, and I was looking forward to it, and I want to clarify some things. First is that they said that this can drive both power-hungry headphones and EMs. And I agree with that. It is able to drive both something like the Sivga Audio or Sendia Audio Peacock, Audeze LCD XC, Audeze LCD MX4, and many other headphones that are very power hungry. It is not quite enough for HIFI HA6SA, which is the hardest headphone to drive I have around, but it is pretty much enough for HIFI Aria. HIFI Aria is a beautiful headphone. I should be reviewing the new Aria with the stealth magnets. I'm just excited about that. I love the Aria, and I'm really curious how HIFI tweaked it. So yeah, it is able to drive those easily. It has more than enough power for them. It has quite a good control. It has very, very low distortion and very, very low noise. This is the first Burson unit that I can actually call great for EMs. It has almost zero background hissing, almost zero noise. I can't really hear it, even at low listening volumes, and with it turned pretty loud. And I have to hand it to those guys. This is the first time I'm having so much fun with a Burson unit. Usually they have a ton of power, but they aren't really great for EMs. They had that power, but they had some background hissing and such. And this time around, no background hissing, no noise. It is perfect for your desktop. Now, this is not a DAC/headphone amplifier. This is a headphone amplifier and speaker amplifier. It needs a DAC. It has an RCA single-ended input at the back, and you will need an external DAC. For this, I've been using the Cyrus One cast, which you can hopefully see in the back. I'm still rearranging my room. If you may have noticed my new IKEA piece there. They're very, very, very affordable in Romania actually. So like 80 bucks for a piece of furniture like that with glass and all. I'm really happy with being Romanian sometimes, you know? Being Romanian is kind of fun, and at the same time it's kind of not. I don't know. I'll probably make a video about it sometime in the future. The Burson Audio Funk is perfect for speakers regardless of how hard they are to drive. I mean, most speakers that aren't full-size towers, so for most bookshelf speakers it should be more than enough. It can deliver 45 watts of power, which is enough to blast your eardrums out if you turn it to the absolute maximum. And I actually turned it to the absolute maximum. I was curious about this, and it has zero distortion at the absolute maximum. But I noticed something. The absolutely best quality is if you don't turn it all the way to the max. Like keep it like 95%, 80%, something in that ballpark. It tends to sound better in that area. And try to use the DAC to control the volume more than using it, but also don't leave it at the maximum and use only the DAC. Like do a mix of both. Experiment a bit, because some speakers tend to sound better with it turned all the way up, and some speakers tended to sound better control with it being at about 70%. So I don't really know why it happens, because I'm not an electronist engineer. I'm more like videographer. I mean, obviously I'm doing YouTube videos. As a music lover, I like to experiment, and upon experimenting, I noticed those things, so I'm sharing them with you. Try to experiment yourself and see how it sounds better. But on my setup, I actually noticed that it sounds a bit better if neither the DAC nor the Burson Funk are turned at the maximum. So try to not turn either of them at maximum. Try to control the volume from both a bit. This was my experience so far. The connectors at the back are gold plated. Even though they are covered in plastic, they are also removable. They have those holes for connecting your typical speaker wire. You cannot do B-wire with it. I mean, obviously you can't. And overall, I think that this is a perfect unit. For 600 bucks, I have not had a unit that I would better use for both headphones and desktop speakers. And it has this convenience. You can like leave it on a desk. It looks quite cool. I don't know if you can see it, but I think it is quite cool. I think it is pretty much the looker. Pretty cute unit. And having it on the desk, it's quite cool because it is not very tall, so it has more than enough space below my monitor. It is silver in color. I like silver color, a darker shade of silver. I also appreciate that. I do think that the Burson Funk is perfect for most people. Like, I couldn't find the headphone I didn't really like with it, although I did notice this. It has that Burson house sound where it sounds a bit brighter, a bit more open, very wide, very holographic, very deep sound, but it doesn't have a lot of bass. So if you have something that is already quite bright or something where you need more bass, then the Burson Funk will not provide extra bass. It is very neutral in presentation. It does not have a ton of bass. It is actually slightly bright in presentation. It has more than enough treble. It has some extra sparkle, extra spice in the sound. So if you need something that is absolutely dead on neutral or something that is warm and bassy, I have other recommendations. For example, the Cyrus One cast I have in the back and actually using at this moment has more bass and a warmer sound. The Burson Audio is tangibly more neutral. I can feel the fact that it is more neutral. It works very well with warmer sounding headphones. HIFI and Aria sounds beautiful. Roson RAD0. Headphones that are already quite bright or quite neutral, like the Kenner Tone Thrower, actually do not sound better from the Burson Funk than they sound from the Cyrus One cast, just because of that coloration in sonics. So you should keep that in mind when you decide to go for it. Try to go for something that complements your current setup. That is quite important. It's important to match things that complement each other, because then you'll reach a better overall experience. Don't forget, listening to music is a very personal and direct experience. It is not something that can be done correctly or wrong. You can listen to music in the wrong way. Like, even if you are using MP3s and the cheapest headphones, as long as you're enjoying yourself, you are listening to music. Don't forget, that's the most important part of this hobby. Listening to music, enjoying, loving each other, feeling emotion from that music, and try to have some. Speaking of fun, I would have a ton of fun if you could order the Burson Audio Funk using the links in the video description for Amazon, obviously, because I try to affiliate myself with Amazon at least a tiny bit, and that helps me because I gain some pennies. Every single time you make a purchase, I gain a penny. I don't gain a lot, I'll be honest with you. Even if you use them, I will not gain a lot. It's just enough to pay for the electricity to keep my entire studio running. It's not even enough for the electricity. The prices of electric energy in Romania have increased. If you could do that, I would be forever grateful. Also, if you could donate something, I would really appreciate it. Like, really appreciate it. It would keep me fed. I would have something to eat, and that, my dear friends, is about as good as listening to music. I mean, eating. It's great. It's great to have what to eat. So yeah, any help is greatly appreciated. Also, if you enjoyed the video, if you found it funny, if you found cool to look at, if you ended up purchasing this thing, and if you like it, if it is as I described it, please leave a like on this video. Also, press subscribe to Audiophile Heaven for more content. Having more subscribers is actually quite helpful because it offers me more reach. A tiny subscribe would help me great. I really thank you for watching. I hope you have the loveliest of weeks in there, and we'll see each other really soon. Bye bye.